Welcome, everyone. My name is JR. I'm the founder and owner of Business Leaders Network. And today we're here with another roundtable interview where I get the opportunity to speak with amazing entrepreneurs who are doing big things and making an impact in all walks of different industries. So hang tight, listen up. And if you guys want to connect with each one of them, we will give you an opportunity at the end to see how you can do that. So, welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks.
You.
Thanks for the opportunity, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to pick on Jeremy first just because I know him very well. So, Jeremy, we'll start with you. What is share more about what you're doing in this world to make an impact and what inspires you to kind of get started with that?
Well, sweet. First off, JR, thank you for the opportunity. I've known you for several years, and you're constantly creating opportunities to get people together to connect and add value first, which is giver's gain. I love the concept of that.
Thank you.
Um, So I'm Jeremy Rodruck. I am a men's consultant, and my job is to get fired by my clients as fast as possible because we solved the situation that they're going through and they don't need my services. And if I had to make it real simple, I divorce-proof marriages for business owner dads and executives 40 plus. Because if you did at the end what you did at the beginning, there would never be an end. The problem is people get caught up in expectations and obligations and entitlements and then wounds and blah, 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 and they tear each other apart. And so I'm like, look, the story you're telling is creating the game you're playing. How's that working for you? Right. The only question I care about is do you want to be right or do you want to get results? And if you want results, cool. Let's go fix that. If you want to be right, enjoy sleeping on the couch and enjoy your divorce because that's where you're heading. And so a lot of the stuff I do, it's playful, it's insightful, but it's designed to get past all the fault, blame, guilt, shame stuff. Like, let's just take ownership and let's start learning to respond instead of react and change the dynamic because it's better for the kids, it's better for the couple. And the reason I do this is I've been through those relationship storms. 10 divorced dads a day end their lives. And when they do, their kids are 40 to 60% more likely to do the same thing. And if they don't end their lives, alcohol, drugs, quality of life goes down, risky behavior goes up. Like there's all kinds of horrible, horrible stats. So there's so many guys that have the story no one cares about men. And I'm like, nah, that's not true. I have a canned thing. I'm actually building a resource on my website for I care about men. It has a video and a bunch of resources that are for free to deal with mindset and belief system. Because when people get to the place of everyone's better off without me, or I can never win this game, that's when people punch their card. And that's BS. It's a belief system, which means we could change it quickly and easily, but you got to get around more resourceful people. So that's a bit about me and what I do and why I do it.
Yeah, so when people kind of give us one little nugget, when people get to that place of, oh man, I don't know if I can do this anymore and I'm just done. What's one quick tip you can give them?
The easiest thing in the US is text 988 because it is a 24-hour free resource. Nobody knows your names, and you can just sit there and vent and you can complain and you can talk and whatever, and somebody will text you back and have a conversation with you, right? It's the National Suicide Hotline. It used to be this big long number. Now it's just 988 for mental emotional emergencies, 911 for physical. So when you feel like nobody cares and you feel like there's no one there for you, 988, say what you got to say and somebody's going to come back at you. No one knows your name. You don't even have to say it. No one hears your voice. So that's like the most basic lifeline, and that's for any age person. We have kids as young as 9 and 10 attempting to take their lives now. So we've got to get out of this whole guilt and shame and fault and blame stuff, and like how do we change the conversations? So that's a free tip that's everyone needs to hear that as much as possible.
It's crazy. I never even knew that there was a number for that. I mean, I always hear like
Mhm.
a suicide hotline, but I always figure you just Google and find it. I didn't know there was 988. I don't know why they're not
Yeah, they
talking about that.
simplified it for that exact reason.
I don't know why they're not talking about that as much as they talk about 911. So,
Yeah.
I put it everywhere. I see someone say something, they're like, oh, something. I'm like, hey, there's always 988. You can call or text because sometimes just talking about the thing, it's too big of a step. But typing it, it's one step disassociative. It's one step less personal because I'm doing it on a screen, not coming out of my own mouth. And so it's a way to take some of that tension and that guilt down. But it's like, look, you matter. You have a gift to give the world, but you got to stay here to give it.
yeah, good tip. Love that. Well, moving on, Tiffany. So, why don't you same question? Share more about who you are, what you do, and what inspired you to get started.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am Tiffany, and I help individuals detox their lives from the inside out. So pretty much what that is about and what that consists of is my three pillars: detoxing your life, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And oftentimes, when we, especially in America, when we hear the word detox, we automatically think that it's something to drink to flatten your tummy or detox tea or go to the bathroom, TMI. But that's just one component of it. It's a lot about mental work, as Jeremy was just speaking on, just having that space and knowing, having those resources, having those boundaries, knowing what to disallow in your space, knowing what to turn away, knowing how to release things that no longer serve you. And again, with the word detox, when we drink certain things or we consume certain things, we're releasing physically. But what are we doing about the mind? What are we doing about the spirit? So just detoxing those things, watching what you consume, watching the spaces you allow, watching the energy that you attract, watching the people that you're around, the relationships, the environments, all of that takes a toll on you holistically. So what started me to doing that, it sounds like Jeremy has a mental health background, if I'm kind of checking that a little bit. Yeah. And I come from a mental health background. I do have a degree in psychology. So I've kind of blended psychology with my holistic practice, which is something that I personally do as well, detoxing. And so I just blended that together to kind of package that so that individuals can understand why they do what they do and how to change what they do, and giving them the tips and the guides on detoxing their life to actually change their behaviors.
Love that. So, what inspired you to do what you do?
Pretty much my personal life, honestly. Just kind of taking back, or going back to my background in psychology. Had, um, I've always had a liking and a fondness to understanding people. And I think now with social media and competing and comparing, and as Jeremy was also mentioning too, just having all of that around you where you don't really know to turn to, but just allowing people to understand that there is a different way to live. There is a different way to think. There is a different way to behave. And again, with my personal story, I just kind of blended that in. I do a 10-day detox a couple of times a year when I need to expel, release, remove, uncover, declutter. And I just kind of packaged all of that, seeing the outcome that that made on my own life, how I changed as an entire person, and just blended all of that together to offer that to others as well.
No, I love that, and I'm a pretty strong Christian, and I lead with a lot of my faith and biblical truths, and even the Bible talks heavily about fasting, and we need to fast from different things. It's not just from fasting from food, but it's fasting from everything. It's like even technology. I find myself sometimes where I'm like, man, my eyes and my head hurts just being on my phone or the computer all day because I'm literally feel like I sit here on Zoom all day long with clients and other calls that I have moving on, and I'm like, I need to detox that because it's like a drug. It's like
Yeah.
cocaine where you're like, oh my gosh, I need to be on there, and then you have this phantom feeling like you always got to have that phone in your hand. And when I start getting to that point, I'm like, okay, time to shut it off, lock it up, and get away, go outside, go for a drive, go do something. But it's so
Yeah.
important. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I definitely value and respect what you do.
Thank
Cool,
you.
Graham. Let's go to you, man.
Hello.
Share what
How
you
are you,
do and what
JR?
inspired you to get started, man.
Yeah, so we have Impact Mastermind. It's a global, it's a group of business leaders, faith-based, driven entrepreneurs that get together. We get together, break bread, we challenge each other, push each other, hold each other accountable. And the reason we got started was we were in some other groups that were phenomenal, but they're very tactical, and they were missing the holistic approach. They were either all in on the one thing, whether it's growing the business or uh, growing themselves, but just, we're intertwined human beings, and we wanted to grow everybody and everything at the same time. If we are estranged from our kids, we're sleeping on our couch, like Jeremy said, we're broken and we need a detox, like Tiffany said. Those things all matter. And as we were business owners, we were leading. My wife had a very large, successful facilities company, 500 employees across 7 states. I was a commercial lender, and we were going at all cylinders. And it was just we're going towards burnout. And actually, my wife she had a burnout situation, and because of that, we slowed down. And we like to say, she likes to say specifically, she pressed pause a little bit and was able to stop. And we evaluated what was going on, and we 11 years ago now, actually, and went, you know what? building a business is fun. It's cool. It pays the bills. We like to, food and shelter, but we love building people. And if we can build business owners and have them have a stronger family, a stronger faith, a stronger group dynamic just with the people that they interact with, then they can lead their business and their team, and all those families are positively impacted as well.
Yeah, what inspires you to do it?
One, Janelle's breakdown, and two, we can not total breakdown, but just burnout stage. But then also other business groups were, I mean, I some of them were kind of soft and squishy and or just Bible studies, and then others were all in on the business, but there's no soul to it. There's no emotional connection to it, and we wanted to blend the two, and so we felt there was a big gap there.
I love that. I resonate with everything that you're saying. I'm kind of on a journey where I'm building a Christian. I think I mentioned to you
Mhm.
in a message, but a men's retreat that's focusing for Christian business leaders that are men, and I'm committed to launching my first event on before June. So that's
Oh,
yeah. So I'm kind of on the same journey as you. I love it, and I see the need for it. I mean, men are just hungry and for more growth and connection and things like that. So yeah,
yeah,
I love what you do.
yeah,
It's very exciting.
yeah,
Maybe there's some collaboration there, but
for sure.
love to connect further on that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Stacia, you pronounce it Stacy or Stacia?
Stacia.
Stacia. Wow, I was way off. Okay, cool. Well, Stacia, why don't you share more with you? What do you do, and what inspired you to get started?
My name is Stacia, and actually Stacia Liu, formerly Stacia Kennedy, and I'm a systems integrator. I specialize in go high level systems as well. So that means I basically connect all the tools that people have and processes in businesses so that everything actually works together. I help business owners stop duct taping all the different softwares and subscriptions and actually, scale it to something more affordable so that they can run their business as a business and not as a self-employed person trying to catch everything and put out fires, basically. I started, and what inspired me is actually it started back before Go High Level. I was actually working for, I was like, actually, I wasn't even working for him yet. I was actually working, I got a position because I was able to like basically create my own economy by helping other people in the real estate niche. So real estate, and then he was also a motivational speaker. So then I also started working with coaches and course creators and spiritual healers as well, because a lot of the artists as well in people don't know how to put everything together. They have the vision, and I'm like the integrator that puts all the pieces together. And so I filmed my mentor speaking at an event. He had a great story. I posted it on Facebook and tagged him, and he said, "How did you do that? I need someone to help me with that." So that's how I got started.
That's cool. Are you doing the design aspect as well, like building landing pages and funnels and websites, or are you just focus more on the integration pieces
Yeah,
within Go High Level?
everything. I'm kind of a hybrid of what you'll never find out there all in one, where I've actually have a degree in graphic design, and I have used my intuition and color concepts and color coding and branding to put things together. Then also recently started, doing AI as well too. So AI twins and all the fun things and creating AI pictures for the websites, because that was the hardest part. Like, oh, go and like get a photo shoot now, or or trying
Yep.
to have to find a photographer and pay thousands of dollars for that. And now I'm like, forget it. I'm just gonna get you your whole thing set up. Just give me a selfie.
That is awesome. Yeah, if you know how to leverage AI and be able to integrate that was my biggest problem. So I'm not in that space with you, but I do help build like sales pages and funnels, but I don't position myself as that because I don't want that headache.
Yeah.
Like take special people that can handle people to do that. So, but that's cool. But if you're able to do the AI stuff without them doing a picture, it's always been a headache. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I need a picture that's not pixelated. So
Right.
yeah, just give me something that looks good. Cool. I love that. Well, for me, I'm the founder and owner of Business Leaders Network. And yes, we love to connect small business owners with growth and development with tools, but building real connections. Our whole mission is to build a community of emotionally intelligent servant leaders. And even though I love connecting people through our network and community and masterminding and hosting events, I love teaching people how to leverage the power of one day events as well. And that's something that I've been really good at, and what I've been able to teach people to do is how to leverage micro one day events to generate leads, close more sales, but increase retention in their business. And what inspired me to really do that was when I got out of the military in 2007. I owned a martial arts school out of St. Louis, knew nothing about business, and actually was really bad at it. Hired a coach, and my coach showed me how to create offers, how to launch events, how to sell at the events. And before that, leading up to it, I was barely making $1,000 a month, and I hosted my first event and closed $270,000 in new contract sales. And my whole life changed after that because I've been able to duplicate that same process in many different businesses for myself, but I've been able to teach people on how to do the same thing. And I focus very heavily on micro one day events because one, logistics, it's a lot easier. It's not like the hardest part about any event is just filling the seats. The second hardest part is monetizing and making money. And so, because you get people that stress up like, oh, is anyone going to come? Or how do I make money from it? And so, because the truth is, a lot of people can bring people together and host an event, but very few people know how to actually make money from it. And that's what I specialize in, is teaching people how to leverage and monetize in-person experiences so that way they can grow their business, increase sales, and shrink the sales cycle in one day. And what inspired me to do it is because I saw the power of what it did for me. And I still host events all the time. I mean, just from now until the end of March, I'm either attending an event or hosting my own events. I think I have like 5 or 6 from now until the end of March. And I love it. I love the power of it. I love the connection pieces, the relationships you gain from it, and just seeing what can conspire from it. So that's what I do. I love it. Well, I'm going to go backwards now for the next question. So, Stacia, you get to go first. Why don't you share one of your best client success stories? Where were they at when they started with you? What did you help them achieve? And what came from it?
One of the fun things I get to do is also, you've seen those 5 day, 3 day challenges. So before I got into Go High Level, I actually did that as well. That was like the vision, like that people would have, or not necessarily, didn't really have a vision. I had this one client who was selling their program for about 3 to 5 thousand, and then I was able to help her actually put that into a 5 day challenge, and we went from a 5 figure income to $1 million twice, putting together all the funnels and operations and all the things that had to go in place to do a live challenge. So I walked her through the live launch method, moved their systems all over into High Level, and was able to just have them show up. That's what they do. Like the people that come to me, I'm like, you just show up and you teach your thing, and I'll take care of the rest.
That's really cool. I love that. That's a huge transformation. Graham, what about you? Share one of your best client success stories.
Yeah, one of them that jumps out is a gentleman. If you all looked at him, if we looked at him, you would say, man, he's successful. You know, the house, the car, travel, life looked great. Uh, Inside the house, he saw his kids once in a while. He was married, but it was just, still function. And his company had 5,000 employees. And but he was just working 80, 90 hours a week. And we kept we're about a year and a half in of continually writing him, quite frankly, saying you needed to slow down and detoxes. We he was horrible looking, white, pale, looked just miserable during our meeting. And I went up to him and I said, look, Mike, you need to do something. You need to go to the doctor. No, I will. I will. And that was his famous, right? I will after tax season. I will after this quarter end. I will after this new contract. I will after we renew the other contract. And I said, no, 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 no. You need to go now. And so some of the other people in the room were like, yeah, you need to go. So we surrounded him and said, kind of pushed him that way. We got in the car and Janelle and I, my wife, we worked together, and she's like, what was that all about? And I said, oh, I told, and so she calls Mike up. Hey, you got to go to the doctor. He goes to the doctor. Our meeting was on Wednesdays. He goes to the doctor on Thursdays, and he walks in, the doctor looks at him and says, we're going to go put a stent in right now. And he would have had a widowmaker within a week. they figured, had he not gone in. And you know what? When you're growing your business, you're growing what looks like a cool, perfect life. If you don't take care of the temple, if you don't take care of your body, it's not worth anything. And fast forward a year, he brought in partners, pretty much sold out, and hangs out with his grandkids, rides his bike all the time, travels with his wife, and he's he's living what is really a perfect life now. And like I can't remember, was it Jeremy said is fat? I try to get my clients to fire me as fast as they can or something like that. That was, he's a success story because unfortunately he's just a friend now and not a client.
That's awesome. I love that. Great story. Tiffany, same question. Share one of your best client success stories.
Yeah, absolutely. So before I stepped into speaking and mentoring, I was doing coaching, one-on-one coaching and group coaching as well. And inside of my membership, I did a challenge for women. That's when I was only working with women. And I did a detox, a physical detox challenge. And I had every woman in the group for the next week pick something in their house for them to declutter, whether it was their closet, the fridge, a cabinet, a closet, a bedroom, whatever. And this woman who I got to know, in my membership and things, she was like the first person to like post her pictures later on that day in the group. It was like, I started cleaning my bedroom and then I just kept going through the house and I got the kitchen, I got the basement, she just kept cleaning everything. And she literally showed us pictures of her before and after. And we see those videos online where people like clean the houses up. Like it literally looked like one of those videos or photos. And she was just saying how she hasn't had the energy, the motivation to clean in so long. But just that one challenge that I gave those women in that space, she pretty much like was running around like the Jetsons, the maid on the Jetsons, just cleaning every part of her house. So that really touched me and that stood out a lot because I think she was a mother of 5 children and she's lost 3 of them. So she struggles a lot with just day to day. And, she's working on that separately. But just to kind of be in that motivational space, that empowering space, she, joined my community. And she even now talks about like, oh my God, I remember this. And like she talks about it. So that will forever be something that I take with me. Yeah.
That's a beautiful story. Hold on to that as your why and reminding you why you're doing what you do. So we need stories like that. It's beautiful. Jeremy, same
Yeah,
question.
so yeah, I've got a guy that I worked with, and he engaged me for 3 months, and we only had one conversation. He had been on a crusade for about the last 6 years, personal development, physical fitness, just driving himself and really digging in on his life. And I have a quiz that I have my guys take. He scored literally the highest, 96, I think, 96% on the scale, which no one's ever done before. So just like amazing personal development, personable, playful, just all these wonderful qualities. And he was living in a sexless marriage for 2 years. And he loves his wife, and they've been married 19 years. They have 5 kids. He's got several businesses, very successful, adores his wife, but I can't stay in a sexless marriage. So what do you do, right? Because I don't want to divorce her, but I'm not getting my needs met, and it's really weighing on him. And so what does he do? And he's done all the things, quote unquote. I'm like, well, you haven't talked to me. And so we ended up doing a session. He's like, okay, so we did this. He and I met on a Wednesday, or I'm sorry, we met on a Sunday. We had a conversation, unpacked some of the things that are going on, changed his frames and how he approached. Tuesday night, she sat on the edge of the couch and obviously sat on the edge of the couch. Normally that would have provoked a fight or some sort of something. He didn't say a word. Wednesday morning, start of the day, hey, I noticed you were on the edge of the couch last night, and totally fine if you need space, whatever, but I missed you. And that opened a new conversation. And he understood how to make it safe for her mentally to be open with him. which then led to her being emotionally open with him. And they got to some things because she had been so busy judging herself, right? We've been married so long. You'd be happier. You're so successful. You're so fit. I can't keep up with you. I don't work out like you. You'd be happier with another woman, a younger woman, a more attractive woman. She's so busy rejecting herself. She can't receive the love that he has for her and the admiration and the appreciation he has because she was in this space with some stuff that she's got unresolved. And it's not your job to solve that unless she asks you. But walked him through, here's how to be mentally present, emotionally present. So now she's open. They were in bed that night. I get a text message the next morning. Hey, my wife said last night was fantastic. It's like not a message he can send to anybody else. I'm like, booyah. So now 6 months later, I do a follow-up call with him, just see how things are going. And his wife apologized to him for the kids being home. And I was like, say more. And he said, well, there was a storm last night and I was on the back patio watching the storm. My wife came out and she said, I'm sorry the kids are home. And I said, why is that? And she said, well, if the kids weren't home, I would make love to you on that table in the storm right now. So we went from 2 years sexless to now she's pursuing him. And so that right there, it's think about he's got all the accolades, all the professional, all the everything with his team and his career, but he's in this marriage where he's being rejected on some level. It's diminishing. And now it's just such a playful place. And he shared, the conversation he and I had, he shared that with her so she understands where he's coming from. And there's just so much more openness and so much more playfulness in their marriage, which now their kids get to see as well and grow up inside and understand this is what a loving couple does. This is how they live. That becomes his kids' normal. So what are they going to go chase in their future? And it was one conversation with me on a Sunday, one conversation with her on a Wednesday morning, and off to the races. So he hired me for 3 months, but we only had one conversation. Technically, he still has time on my books if there's any other issues. That's how I look at it.
That's a beautiful story. You just changed that whole generation of that family. And so really cool story. And just because I know you personally, I know you have a lot of other stories. So that's really cool. And congratulations. For me, I have a lot of stories, but I want to share once. Well, I normally share one story of a client that I helped her make $109,000 from one event, but there's another one specifically. He's an attorney, and I never really share this much online because people are like, how does an attorney host an event? And every industry, I don't care what business you are, if you have a product or you got a service, you can host an event and leverage that to generate lead sales and whatever. And it doesn't have to be a multi-day event. This is a one-day event. And he's still part of my Business Leaders Network community, but probably 2-3 years ago, he called me and was like, man, I really he's been watching my content about events. He really had in his heart about wanting to do events. And we talked about a strategy for him to be able to leverage it. And now he's doing events all the time. But that first event that he did, I actually flew down to help him with it. He lives out of Texas. And I flew down to help him with it. And he closed $23,000 in new profit sales from that one event. And for an attorney, that's pretty big, because most people are paying, a lot of money per hour for it. But I helped him package like new offers that he can do for his clients and services. And it's awesome because I since then, I think he's been doing one like every 3 or 4 months. He's been doing an event, and that's been his biggest lead gen to drive in new clients into his law services that he does. And he's an attorney, so it doesn't matter what business that you guys are in, we can get creative and figure out a way to draw people there. And at that event, I think he had between 30 to 35 people show up. And it was just a really cool story because I love seeing how he is using it as his biggest lead gen tool to build his business and is no longer needing to do just regular one-on-one calls all the time. He's doing events all the time. He's driving traffic, selling tickets to his event, upselling from his event, and that's been one of his biggest lead gen tools to help grow. And that's my biggest lead gen for what I do is either attending events or hosting my own events, and I use it to drive it in. So even for all of you guys, all of you should be doing events to help drive traffic to it because you don't need a lot of people. You can have 5 people. I had one client years ago, this is probably like 5-6 years ago, had one person show up to his event because he didn't do what he was supposed to do, but I still made him show up to that one because he called me the day. I was like, I only got one person. Should I cancel? I said, hell no, you're not canceling that because you promised that person to show up. Turned to a $30,000 contract by the time that he ended that event. So you don't need a lot of people to do really well. And so you can make anywhere from a few $100 or less to, over six figures from one event, and just depending how you position the right offer with the right people. So those are a couple of great stories that I have, and just love sharing that with other people. Sweet. So let's kind of go around, and what is the best place for people to get in touch with you? We'll start with Jeremy.
Best thing to get time with me is go to leadlikeaking.com/quiz, which is the King's Compass quiz. It's a quick 2-minute assessment in 9 critical areas. If you do not have these areas addressed, you're going to have exposures in your life, whether it's personally or professionally, and there will be unconscious and conscious and nasty blowback. So how do we integrate that stuff? How do we deal with it? How do we turn personal development into a game that you can win instead of just kumbaya feel good? So that's the place to get started. It's a free quiz, and at the bottom there's a spot you can book 30 minutes with me. We'll unpack your answers and see where that leads. Whether you work with me or not, it's a good self-assessment tool to just get a quick snapshot on how are you doing. 9 critical areas. So leadlikeaking.com/quiz.
Cool, love that. Stacia, where's the best place for someone to get in touch with you?
You can go to Instagram, Stacia Lou, STACIALOO, or you can go to stacialou.com.
Cool, love that. And Graham.
Yeah, the best place to get a hold of us is legacy-leader.com, legacy-leader.com. And my calendar link's in there, and just look around and see what we're up to.
Cool. And Tiffany.
Yeah, same as Graham. I saw that station. Jeremy was providing. I was like, and I remember he was being like, what should I say? But just my website, just everything is there. It's what my main hub. I do have my social medias and all that. Everything is under the same name, TiffanyNHaywood.com. So TIFFANYN. That is important because there's a lot of Tiffany Haywoods. But Tiffany N Haywood, HAYWOOD.com. And there's also, like Jeremy, there's a quiz on there. A detox your life quiz, letting you know what area of your life needs to be detoxed. We can start working on that. You can book me to speak, book me for events and things like that. So yeah, my website.
Very cool. And for me, the best place to reach out is grab my free one-day events conversion blueprint, where I give you some step-by-steps of what you guys can do to think about on what type of event and what you should be doing next. And you can go to theonedayevent.com. That's theonedayevent.com. Go grab your free blueprint. And if you guys want to book a call, my information is on there. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here on the call today. And for all of you listeners out there, if you found what you heard valuable, I want to encourage you guys to schedule a call, reach out, grab the resources, and start that connection. And until next time, Semper Fi.